In this video, I'm going to show you how to import floor plans into Sketchup and create detailed drawings and layout for Sketchup. Alright, so the first step before you start any project in Sketchup is to select the right units. So you're going to go with architectural inches for this project. So I'm going to select architectural inches. And I'm going to delete our human figure here, heather. And we're going to also delete all our materials here. So just go to materials in the default tray and click on delete all. Now let's import our CAD plan into SketchUp. So let's go to file, click on import. Let's select this CAD plan. You'll find the link in the description to download this CAD plan. Now before I import this CAD plan, you can click on options. And if you know the units that this CAD plan was made in, then you can select the right units. In this case, we're going to assume that we do not know the units. So let's use meters and click on OK. And let's click on import. Click on close. Alright, so we bought in our CAD plan and you can see it's got in two options. This is the site outside the plan and this is our plan here. Now this is the plan we're going to go with and which the client liked. So what we'll do is we'll enter this group and let's delete this option here. Tap escape. Let's select this group and move it to the origin here. And let's check the scale of this drawing. So let's activate the tape measure tool and let's hover over this wall. So you can see it's about 39 feet, which is not what we want. This wall is 1 foot in thickness. So we need to scale this. And in order to scale this, what you need to do first is to enter the group. So tap enter to enter the group, or you can double click to enter the group as well. Let's activate the tape measure tool again. And this time I'm going to activate the measure mode by tapping Control on my keyboard or Option on Mac. Now let's click on this point here. And let's click on the second point and let's give a dimension or a length of 1 foot. So 1 apostrophe and tap enter. So it'll ask you whether you want to resize the active group or component. Click on yes and we're done. Now your model goes away. So the fastest way to bring back your model is simply clicking on zoom extents. Perfect. So we bought in our model and let's tap escape, exit the group. Now if I start to zoom out, you can notice our axis line is pretty way off our origin of our model here. So what we need to do is we need to move it to the origin and I'll show you a shortcut to move it. Let's activate the move tool. Let's click on any of these points here, and to move it to the origin, the fastest way is by typing in open brackets 0, 0, 0 and close brackets. Yeah, so once you close the bracket, tap enter. And again, you can see that our model goes away. Simply click on the zoom extents option here. And you can see that it's placed exactly at the origin, which is perfect. Alright, so the next step is to check the right orientation of the site. Now in SketchUp, by default, the green axis is always pointed towards the north. If you like to check the true north, you can just go to view and click on true north here. So you can see that this is the true north in SketchUp. Now if you'd like to change this, we'll need to install a plugin called Solar North. So let's go to extensions, extension warehouse, and let's search for Solar North. Let's click on Solar North here and click on install. So the plugin is installed and I'm just going to dock it to our toolbar here. So to change it, let's click on display north to see the north here, and let's click on the second icon to set the north. So the north is facing on the other side. So I'm going to click once and then I'm going to simply hover over to the other side. It is at an angle. So I'm going to click again to set our north. Perfect. So we set our true north in SketchUp. And then I'm going to move this to the origin here. Now, if you want to get rid of the north line display, simply switch that off. So we set our true north as well. And now we can start the process of moving this SketchUp model to layout for SketchUp. So the first step, what you need to do is set the right style. So to do so, let's go to our styles here. Click on the home button and you can see right now is architectural design style. Let's edit the default style. So let's click on edit. And the first step is you need to go to your edges here and switch off profiles. And you can see once you switch it off, it'll ask you whether you want to update the style. In this case, we will update the default style. So let's click on update. And then we need to go to background settings. And under background settings, what we can do is we can switch off the sky, which is this background here. And we can change the background to pure white. So click on that color option and select pure white. Click on OK. Perfect. And make sure to always update the style by clicking on the icon here. Now we need to set up the scenes. So to set up the scenes, what you can do is, so go to camera and click on palette projection, and then go to camera standard views top. So let's sort of zoom in using the scroll wheel, and let's go to our scenes here and create the first scene. We can also rename the scene. So I'm going to rename the scene here, call this site plan. Now I'm going to zoom into the plan, and I'm going to right click on site plan and click on add. We can rename the plans or the scenes here as well. So right click on scene 2, click on rename and call this plan. So we have the site plan and we have our plan. Now what we need to do is we need to arrange the tags in SketchUp. So to do so, we can open the tags window in our default tray. So you can notice it's not part of this default tray because I've created 2 default trays. That's how I work. So we have one simple default tray and then we have another tray just with the tags option here. So to create a new tray, you can simply click on new tray here, select any of the options from here and click on add. So that will create a new tray just like this. So you can notice we have these tags here, which is part of our CAD drawing. So the first step, what we need to do is make sure all these lines belong to the right tag layer. Sometimes the CAD drawings are not perfect, so you will need to fix that in SketchUp. So I'm going to switch off all these tags and then start off one by one. So you can see we have our group here. So a lot of students make the mistake of assigning the group to a tag. Make sure you assign the lines inside the group to the right tag. So in this case, if you select this group and go to the entity info, it is set as untagged. So make sure it's always untagged. The CAD drawing group is always set to untagged. So to enter the group, you can just simply select this drawing and tap enter. So now we are inside the group. And now we can select all of these elements and we can assign the right tag. So maybe let's give this to furniture here. All right, let's start off with the walls. So I'm going to switch on walls. So these are all the wall layers, which looks fine. Then let's switch on furniture, which looks fine as well. Now we have the electrical tag, but in the electrical tag, we have only the doors. So what we can do is we can rename this. So you can double click and call this doors. And we can hide that. Then let's go to stairs. All right, so in the stair tag, we have the site. And then we have these elements here. So let's move the site to another tag. So I'm going to create a new tag called this site. And I can also use the tag tool to assign the tag. So now if I select this, it's set to stair level for some reason. So let's make sure that, yeah, we've assigned it correctly now. So now if I select it, the tag is site. Perfect. And now these elements here, they belong to the stair level, which is also fine, but these lines are not part of the stairs. So I'm going to move all of these lines to furniture. So our site is done. Our stairs are done. Now let's go to toilets. So we have a simple toilet here, which is fine. Then we have our windows. We have 2 tags, which is window and win. So we do not need the win tag, so we can remove the win tag. So right click on win tag, click on delete. So now our CAD drawing is perfect for detailing in layout for SketchUp. Also, before I send it to layout for SketchUp, what I also like to do is select all of these tags and add it to a group folder. So I'm going to call this CAD. Before you send it to layout for SketchUp is to save this file. So click on file, save. I'm going to create a new folder. You can give the date, the name of the project, and what this file entails. So in this case, it is the plan. I'm going to use the same folder name for the file name as well, and then click on save. Let's check our scenes again. It looks perfect. Now we need to send this to layout. So simply go to file and click on send to layout. Now in layout, when you open it for the first time, you'll need to select the right template. So we'll go with the default templates that layout for SketchUp has to offer. So in this case, I'll go with the A3 landscape plain paper template. So let's select A3 landscape. And we've opened our drawing here. So it also brings in the SketchUp model as shown. Now, when you bring a SketchUp model into layout, the first step is to always make sure that your drawing or the model is in the right units. So let's select this drawing and let's go to SketchUp model. And to change the scale, you can click on current scale here. And you can see we have different scales. So let's go with 1:50. Now once you make it 1:50, you can notice that it clips off at the edge. So you can simply click on these points here and drag it to see the entire plan. Also make sure that when you drag it, this preserve scale option is switched on. If this is switched off, and now when you try to drag this plan, you'll notice that the drawing also scales as shown. So always make sure that your preserve scale is switched on after you've assigned the right scale. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to assign the right scale here. So 1:50. And then I'm going to make sure preserve scale is switched on. I'm going to center this, and then I'm going to extend these boxes here. After you've centered and placed your plan, it's a good idea to lock this in case you're not going to make any changes to it for now. So select this plan and click on the lock option here, and you've locked your plan. Now again, in layout for Sketchup, what I've done is I've created multiple trays. I also have another tray on another monitor, which is the layers option here. So to create a new tray, simply go to Windows and click on New Tray here. You can give a name for your tray. You can select the dialogues which you want to be part of this tray and click on Add. Alright, so now what we need to do is we need to create the layers in our layout for Sketchup file. So let's go to our layers window here. You'll find it in the default tray in layout for Sketchup. Now these were the layers that I used in the project. So you can go ahead and take a screenshot and create the same layers in your file. And it has to be in the same hierarchy as well. Now, if you're feeling a bit lazy, then you can actually open our template, which you'll find in the link in the description, and all these layers and more would be present in the template. In this case, since you're going to be creating it from scratch, or if you're creating your own template, you can do so as well. So let me create the layers from scratch. So simply click on the plus button and add your layer. You can also click and drag these around to change the positioning of these layers. Alright, so I've created some layers and I'm going to tuck it to the side for now. And now what we can do is we can create the sheet template for our project. So to create the sheet template, what you would need to do is you need to right click on the canvas here and click on show grid. So this will show the grid in your canvas. And you also need to right click and click on grid snap. So now if you activate the rectangle tool by tapping R, then you can sort of snap to any of these grid points here. Also, if you notice, the grid sizing is set to 1. So if you like to change the grid sizing, simply go to File, Document Setup, and then click on Grid. After which you'll notice the spacing here. So I've set my spacing to 10 mm, which you can do so as well. And you can also set the subdivisions here. So you can see the lines between these spacing. So if I reduce this to 1, the subdivision goes away. So you can subdivide it by 2 as well. Also, while we are in document setup, let's go to paper size here. So you can change the paper size here as well. But I would highly suggest that you stick to one paper size throughout the rest of your project. In this case, A3 works well. And you can notice we also have margins here. If you switch on the margins, then you can see that the grid becomes a bit smaller. We'll come back to the margins later. And finally, we have units. Now, in this case, I'm going to go with millimeters here because I prefer working with millimeters when I'm drawing the sheets. You can, of course, change it to inches as well if you're familiar with inches. It doesn't really matter if your SketchUp model is in a different unit and your layout model is in a different unit, because when you set the dimensions, you can change the units in dimensions as well. So we'll come back to this later in case we need to change it. So now let's click on close, and now let's activate the rectangle tool. So tap R and we can select from the inside point here. So click once and release, and then let's click and release here. You can also snap it to the edges by clicking on the endpoints here, and you can notice that it snaps to the edges. Now you can notice here, in this case, it doesn't snap to the endpoint here or to the edge of our paper size. So to fix that, let's go to File, click on Document Setup, click on Grid, and let's change the spacing to 1 mm and also reduce the subdivisions to 1. Click on OK. So now we can see it becomes super small, and now you can snap it to the edge there. So that was a bonus tip for you guys. So let's actually snap all of these to the edges and then offset it to create our sheet boundary. All right. Now when I created this rectangle, it also fills in with white color. So to remove the fill color, you can go to your shape style, which you will find in your default tray, and simply click on fill to remove the fill color. Now to switch off the grid, you can right click and click on hide grid. Perfect. Now let's select this rectangle, use the offset tool, and let's offset it. So you can see in the bottom, we have an offset value as well. So we can offset it to about 4 mm from the edge of the paper space, and we can give a boundary like this to about 3 mm. And we can delete our external rectangle line as well. Perfect. Now we'll need to move these lines to the right layer. So select these two lines, right click, click on move to layer, and then click on lines. Now let's activate the line tool and let's draw a line like this. So to create some text here, and I'm also going to draw a line this way. Also, when you want to draw the line in the right layer, instead of having to move these lines all the time, what you can do is simply make sure to select the right layer first. So if you click on this, any of the layers, you can see that the default layer changes. So now the right lines layer is the right layer. So if I create a line now and select this line, it will be in the right layer. In this case, these lines are not in the right layer. So select these two lines, right click, move to layer, and click on lines. Now I'm going to snap this to this endpoint here. All right, so we've created some lines. Now we'll add some text. So always make sure to select the right layer first. So I'm going to select text. And then I'm going to add in some text here. So activate the text tool by tapping T, or you can click on the text tool here. And then click once, click and drag, and let's create a text box. So here we can give in some details. So like client name. You can also make this text box smaller if you like. And then what you can do is select this text box, activate the move tool, tap Control or Option on Mac, hold down Shift, and then place it somewhere here. And then what you can do is you can tap in X4 and tap enter, and you can create an array copy of your text. It's similar to how SketchUp works. All right, so I'm going to give the architect's name and mode. I'm just going to move it in here. Perfect. Okay, so for the sake of time, I'm not going to fill in these details, but I will show you how to bring in a north symbol for now. You can go ahead and fill in these details if you like, and try to reassemble it as much as you can from to this layout here. Now it's very simple to change the text size and more. You need to simply select this text. So in this case, if I copy this over, we can select this text, select the font from here. So I'm going to go with Lato because that's my favorite font. And I'm going to go with bold, and I'm going to increase the size. Now, when you increase the size, the bounding box gets smaller. So you simply need to drag that bounding box to show the entire text. So those are some basic options using the text tool, and which should help you get the work done. So here, of course, it would be the name of the plan. So we can call this ground floor plan. So go ahead and finish the rest of the sheet. And finally, to add north block here, what you can do is let's activate the line tool. Let's go to Scrapbooks here, and let's drag one of these north symbols. So I'm going to drag this in. So click and place it in place. And then once you select it, you can see we have these grip points here. We can rotate it as well. So we have a grip point here. You can see if you hover over it, it changes the rotate icon, and then I'm going to rotate it this way. So that's where the north is facing, and that's where I placed my north as shown. All right, finally, now what I'll do is add some dimensions. And also what I need to do is make sure all of these objects belong in the right layer. So I'm going to simply select some of these and just make sure it's in the right layer here. So I'm going to select this, and it's not in the right layer. So I'm going to select symbols, and I'm going to use a shortcut. So you can see it changes the right layer. Now, if you like to learn the shortcuts and how I work with layout for SketchUp professionally, then do check out the full course, which I will be releasing soon. If you'd like to know when the course is getting released, then you can sign up for updates in the link in the description. So you'll be part of our subscriber list, and I'll make sure I do not spam you. I'll just make sure that the course email is sent. All right, so we've moved all these text to the right layers, all these lines to the right layers, and the symbols as well. And now we can start dimensioning out our plan. So what we can do is we can select this and unpin it. So let's go to SketchUp model and click on unlock. And then I'm going to move this up a bit more. You can also use the arrow keys on your keyboard. So if you hold down shift and tap the top arrow key, you can nudge it on top. So I'm going to just go nudge it a bit on top, nudge it to the right as well. Now let's add some dimensions. So make sure you select the dimensions layer, which is active. And let's activate dimensions by tapping D. And then you need to simply click once, click the second time, click the third time to create a dimension. Now, once you create a dimension, here's a hack. What you can do in Layout for SketchUp is you need to simply double click on the endpoint here. And you can notice that it creates the dimension automatically. So I'm going to double click throughout the plan. What I also like to do is after I've created a chain of dimensions, I will select all of these dimensions. Now in this case, I'm going to lock my plan again because I will not be selecting it. So I'm going to select all my dimensions here and right click and click on make group. Now this way I can select the dimension line and sort of move it around together and it stays linked as well. So let's enter the group, select all the dimensions, and let's change the arrow to architectural tick, which is the default arrow in architectural drawings. So let's go to a shape style again and let's change the start arrow, which is this here. So now you can see that it brings it in. What I also like to do is I like to change the thickness of these lines. It's a bit too dark. So I'm going to change our stroke here to 0.1. Perfect. So that's one dimension. Then we can create the overall dimension as well. All right, so we create a new style, but it has the old dimension style. So if you want to copy a style to another dimension, what you can do is you can use the style option here. So click on style, select our dimension which we are going to copy from, and then simply click on that new dimension style. What I also like to do is remove the M from all of these dimensions here, which is unnecessary. So I'm going to select this dimension group. Let's go to dimension style. And then you have this option here, which you can switch off, called display units. You also have different options in the dimension style. So you can play around with which option works best. In this case, I'm going to leave it at that. You can also set your dimensions either above, center, or below. So let's click on above. So you can see all the dimensions sit right on top of the dimension line, which is what we need. And you can also change the units of your dimension. So right now you can see it's 49.6, which is not what I need. So in that case, you need to change the length from decimal to architectural. So now it brings it in correctly, but the precision is a bit too much. So I'm going to change it from 1/8 of an inch to 1/2 inch. And again, to apply the style, I have a shortcut which I've assigned to styles called Alt-C and Alt-V. Now I'll show you how to add hatches in this plan. We're not going to complete the plan in total. I'm just going to show you enough for you to get the work done. So you can go ahead and finish this plan from your end. Now to add the hatches, you can activate the rectangle tool. Now before you create the rectangles, you have these options here. So I'm going to switch off stroke and switch on pattern here. And I'm going to click on this option here. So it opens the pattern fill. And we have different patterns that we can select from. Let's go with material symbols. And let's go with brick common face. Now you simply need to click once and click the second time to create your hatches. So go around the plan and create these hatches. Also, it's very important that you select the right layer. Now before I created the hatches, you can see it's at the dimension layer. So we'll need to move these layers or these hatches to the right layer. So I select them, right click on move to layer and select hatches. And then activate this hatch layer and then go ahead and create the other hatches. Finally, you can also add some text in Layout for SketchUp. So activate the text layer first. tap in T to activate the text tool. I'm going to first assign the right font before I create the text. So let's select the right font here. I'm going to go with Lato, regular, and about 12. So click once and release. You can place a text that way as well without text box. And let's call this living, dining, kitchen. What you also need to do is give the dimensions. So in this case, I'm going to assume it's about 25 feet, 0 inches by 12 feet. Now select this dimension, and if you want to center align it, simply click on the center align there. You can also go ahead and add some additional vegetation and more. You'll find it in the scrapbooks. So if you go to trees and plan, so you have different trees here. So you can simply click and drag it into your SketchUp plan. Also very important, make sure you assign it to the right layer before you bring it in. So in this case, we can assign this to the landscape layer. So let's move it to landscape. Alright, so as the last step, what you need to do is save this file. So let's go to File, click on Save. Now go to the same folder that contained your SketchUp file and give an extension for this called Layout, and then click on Save. And also, if you want to export this plan, it's very simple. Just go to File, click on Export, PDF. You can create a folder under this main folder called Exported, and then click on Save. And we can use the default settings. Make sure the pages are all and click on Export. Now you can see that we've created a very simple plan using Layout for SketchUp. Now this is not perfect because you can see the line weights are not right. Now if you'd like to learn how to create professional drawings with Layout for SketchUp, then check out my full course on sketchupguru.com. I'll show you all the steps that you need to create the entire design set and also the construction set for this drawing, which includes electrical plans and more. And we'll also dive in deeper into creating the interior drawings for each of these spaces as well. There's a particular workflow that I follow, and I'll share that and a whole lot more in this course. Now this course is not yet released. I will be releasing it soon. And if you'd like to know when this course is released, sign up to my subscriber list. You'll find the link in the description. I'll make sure I do not spam. I'll just send you when the course is going to get released, and also useful information about SketchUp, all the latest plugins, and a whole lot more. Please do subscribe for more such SketchUp videos. I'll see you guys next video. Cheers.